Hey everyone, I'm Hammi. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to share the financial goals that I have for the year 2026. And in the beginning of the year, when I was writing down these goals, I did feel something shifting in me. I wanted to keep things simple and not be over ambitious. So other years, what I would do was whenever I would write down the goals, I would just think of things that I wanted to achieve and then write them down and try to work on them. But this year, instead of doing that, I actually sat down to look at my numbers, my actual numbers, the income that I brought in every year. And I looked at the income that I brought in 2023, 2024, and 2025. And I always used to write them down. So it was just a matter of looking at them. And then I subtracted the money that I was putting back into business. And I also subtracted the monthly living expenses, and then I could see the actual number that was remaining that I could put into the goals that I had set for myself. And by doing that, I could see that I did not have much remaining. In 2025 December, when the year ended and I was looking at my goals, I could see that there were some things that I could achieve and some things I could not, and I got disappointed. But you can only work a certain amount of hour every day, and you can only make a certain amount of money every month, because as a healthcare provider, I can only give 6 hours or 5 hours a day to my private practice, because I also have other commitments that I have to look at. So keeping all this in mind, I try to keep things quite simple and not be over ambitious for 2026. Also for this year, I did not give myself an annual goal. For me, I divided the year into 4 quarters: quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4. And for each quarter, I set a certain goal. If the income is less, I know that that goal will be taking much more time than expected. But still, I try to keep it as that, so that every quarter I would focus on one particular goal and then get done with that. Another thing that was actually bothering me was I was focusing so much on paying off my loans in 2025. And I know that the loans have not been paid off. I am still paying my loans. But I tried to learn from the mistake that I made last year. So I am not fully focusing or stressing myself out in paying off my loan. But I wanted to go strategically, because I feel like there are other things in life that I need to focus on also, and not just paying off my loan and getting burned out. Last year I had this urgency, like to finish it off. And that's what actually was causing the stress. So now what I'm doing is I am paying off the loan, and I did some calculations, and the monthly EMI of the loan that I'm currently focusing on is 15,000 every month. And then if I am able to make an extra payment of 5,000 rupees each month into that loan, I know that I am going to be able to pay that loan off by June of 2027. And I've tried to make peace with it. So in 2026, I started the year with focusing on some financial goals that's not focused towards paying off debts. And if I'm able to accomplish those goals first, then by the end of the year, I'll be again fully focused on paying off my loan. But I don't want to do it with the urgency that I had last year. So last year was a learning curve for me, and I want to be wise and use that learning and not stress myself out too much. So now coming to the goals that I have, here's my notebook where I've written down my goals. And the first goal that I had for the year was to save up 60,000 rupees into my emergency fund. Now, how did I come up with this number is I get paid from my hospital work as well. And then I have my clinical practice. So I sat down and I looked at my budget, and I could see that if I give myself 60,000 rupees every month and combine that with the salary that I was getting, then that was leaving me with a comfortable lifestyle where I still had a little bit of extra money to indulge, and I was also paying off my loans, and I was also putting extra money into my goals. So that puts me in a really good spot, and that's why I gave myself a goal amount of 60,000 rupees to put into my emergency fund. Now every year I do put a little bit of money into my emergency fund, but last year in December, when I got crazy, when I was so stressed out about my loan and paying it off fast, I did take out a little bit of money from my emergency fund to pay off my loans, because there's this thing of, if the interest that you're getting in your savings is lesser than the interest of your loan amount, then it's a much better way to pay off your loan first than to save, because you're paying extra interest into your debts. So that's what played with my mind. I was like getting restless, and I did take out some money from my emergency fund and I put it into my debt. But after I did that, I started to feel jittery because I knew that I did not have much money to fall back on in my emergency fund. So I told myself, just save up 60,000 rupees as your emergency fund money and keep it like that. No touching, no taking out any money from there, just keeping it like that. And this was a goal that I set for myself to be achieved in the first quarter of the year. And along with this, I was still paying off my loans. In January, I was able to put away 8,000 rupees as extra debt payment. And in February and in March, I was able to put away 5,000 rupees each as extra debt payment. In April, I was able to put away 8,300 rupees as extra debt payment. And in May, I was able to deposit 5,000 rupees as extra debt payment. So I'm still paying off my loan. That's what I want to say. But I am not stressing over it because my main focus for quarter one was to save up 60,000 rupees. And I was able to do that. I have been able to save up 60,000 rupees into my emergency fund. If I don't have a backup, if I do not have an emergency fund, I've realized that I get anxious, I take bad decisions, and then I regret it. So the second goal that I've set for myself is to save up 50,000 rupees for a medical trip that I'm planning to go very soon. I have not been feeling very well for the past few months, but that's a whole different story. And this goal I'm planning to achieve in the second quarter of the year. That's April, May, and June. So far, today is 10th of May, and I have been able to save up around 18,000 rupees already. Don't know if I'll able to accomplish this goal by June or not. If not by June, then obviously I'll work on it even in July. And along with this, I'm still paying off my loan. I'm still putting 5,000 rupees. So that is the second goal of the year. And then the third goal is to actually focus on paying off my loans, which I'm planning to do so in the third quarter of the year. That will be July, August, and September. And then hopefully by the end of the third quarter, if I'm able to pay off a huge chunk of money, the last quarter, which is October, November, and December, I want to focus on paying a lump sum amount into my PPF because this year I have stalled my PPF deposit. I am not putting money into my PPF every month like how I used to, but rather focusing on my other goals. And then for the last quarter, I'll focus on putting some lump sum amount into my PPF. So these are the goals that I have. Not much, very simple. I want to stay mindful. I don't want to stress myself out too much. And I can definitely say this is not overambitious. And I'm hoping that in the end of 2026, in the month of December, when I sit down to look at the goals and if I've been able to achieve them or not, if I've been able to work on them or not, I will not end up being too disappointed like how it was last year. So thank you so much if you're still here watching. I appreciate you so very much. I'll see you soon in my next video. Until then, take care and bye-bye.